Hello everyone, it's Tess and today's tip 305 revisited, and it's never miss twice. And the reason I went with never miss twice, you can see I have lights on in the background. Never miss twice was what I've decided to do now is we all know I go look for things to talk about from articles on the internet. And what I've started to decide to do is I've got all these bookshelves of books, and the person in me that likes to do everything according to a plan knows that the best thing I can do is just keep moving forward. So what I've been doing every morning is grabbing a book and then looking for something that I think speaks to me for right now. So it's kind of the same idea, but it's my hard copy books instead of my, good morning, Thomas. And it's my hard copy books instead of my internet searches. And this book I grabbed and wanted to find something in because we were in group. It was either on the paid challenge page or it was in group one week with Doc V. And he was talking about this book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. And I forgot to flip my phone around. As you'll know, my battery went dead a few minutes ago, so I had to give it some time to charge. But the reason I picked up this book is I remember when Doc V was talking about it, he said he bought this book, and when he looked through the table of contents, he was like, no new information. This is all stuff I've been studying for 10 years. But he was getting ready to go on a plane trip, so this was pre-COVID. And when he was looking at it, he's like, well, I'll just take it with me on the plane trip and I'll give it to somebody, but at least it'll be something to entertain me while I'm on the plane. As he started reading it on the plane, he had a couple hours and he got into it and he didn't want to let it go. And he was bummed because the stewardess had come by and he promised the book to the stewardess. So he gave it to the stewardess, but he's like, now I know I need to go back and look at it. So today I just kind of scanned through it till I found something that spoke to me. And what it really, the reason I'm thinking about it now is for myself, but for all of us. Right now, we've got a month of all kinds of celebrations, and it talks about how to recover quickly when your habits break down. And basically, what he says is never miss twice. And he said, you got to get back to it right away. That's what Doc V says. And he kind of says, he can't be perfect, but he gets back to it immediately. It doesn't have to look perfect. It just has to be getting back to your program. And he said, the first mistake is never the one that ruins you. So what we have to remember, well, good morning, Gina. So good to see you. So that's so important to know. The first mistake isn't the one that ruins you. And Doc V will say that about foods too. The first time you eat something like Thanksgiving, that one little bite of pie or that one little piece or that one biscuit, that's not what will ruin you. It's that if you keep doing it and go, oh, well, I've got the next month. The next month will go by and you'll end up with things that you need to undo and habits that maybe you never intended to revisit. So he's saying get back on it right away. And he said, honestly, this ability, well, hi, Cammie, good to see you. He points out that this ability to get right back on track and not let more than not let one miss happen and get right back on it. He says that's the distinguishing feature between winners and losers. And I know we're all winners. We just have to learn the rules. And so if the rule is get back on it, know that you may not be perfect when you get back on it, but just get back on it. You don't want that habit to get out of control. Yeah, I was outside, so I have a little snow because we have snow here today. So I'm going to have to do a little shoveling, but I don't think a lot because it's already melting. But he said, and this is so historically me, all or nothing. And we know this. We run into people in our lives that are all or nothing. Sometimes I'm an all or nothing person. And you kind of recognize it. Maybe you recognize it in other people. You don't recognize it in yourself. But it was even in the fact of the books. Part of me wants to be able to sit down and read it from start to finish. And if I can't, I'm not going to pick them up. Well, that's kind of silly. If I can get something out of it today, I've gained from it. When it's time, I'll pick it up and I'll read it from start to finish. But that doesn't mean that I can't gain a nugget. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you. There's no reason why we can't just keep moving forward. And I love this idea. And this is a Chris Noggle thing, so this is really interesting. And he probably has read this book too. But it says, and this is about compound interest. But when you think about the idea of compound interest, it applies to changing new habits in our lives too. And this passage actually says, you don't realize how valuable it is to just show up. If you show up on your bad days or your busy days, lost days hurt you more than successful days help you. So kind of what he was saying is one lost day will hurt you a whole lot more than showing up and being weak. And the reason is, if you start with $100, so this is back to Chris Nagel, and this is like the compounding interest and a lot of what we've learned through that program. But if you start with $100, then a 50% gain will take you to $150. But you only need a 33% loss to take you back to 100. In other words, avoiding a 33% loss is just as valuable as achieving a 50% gain. As Charlie Munger says, the first rule of compounding, never interrupt it unnecessarily. And it's interesting because that's really, really big in the money world and really big in wanting to move yourself forward financially. But what we also have to understand is it's very important even for the habits of our lives. And we know it is easy to lose track if you don't get back on. And my problem is with that all or nothing thing is sometimes I didn't want to get back on until I thought I was perfect at it. And this book is actually telling you that that's the worst mistake you can make if you're falling off. You don't want to interrupt it unnecessarily. If you had a bad day, just get back on it the next day. All that matters is rebounding quickly and reclaiming it faster. That all or nothing doesn't work for us. The problem is not slipping up. The problem is thinking that if you can't do something perfectly, then you shouldn't do it at all. And I know I've seen that in many people in my life. I even myself struggled from it. Even something as simple as, like I said, these books or even studying. I thought if I don't have a 3-hour block of time, I'm not going to study. Well, the thing is, I need to just keep doing it. I studied 3 or 4 chapters in my textbook yesterday. Was it all in sit down nonstop time? No, because I had security cameras installed too. So what I did is I found that I was more productive because I did some stuff here, I did some stuff here, I did some stuff here. So I think this idea where he refers to it as money, it's the same thing. We can't let any more than one day pass until we're back on it again. It's critical and it will help us to move forward. It says knowing when and when not to track a habit. And I think that was kind of what I talked about in weighing. I weigh myself every day now. I weigh myself every day now because I've learned not to be emotional about it. I've learned that that's just the tool to keep me on track. If my weight starts to fluctuate, then I go, oh, hey, wait a minute. What are you doing? Is there something you're doing differently? Have you let a habit fall that you're trying not to recognize? And then I get back on it. Now, if you're a person that will let it derail you, then you can't do that. You have to look for something else. Maybe it's a piece of clothing that you wear. But find the tools that let you get back on track faster. Because like this book says, and I've heard tons of people talk about how amazing this book is. So I'm going to keep pulling my talks out of some of these books, because I'm not going to wait till, this tax class and getting through this and the job offer that's on the table if I, pass my exams, that's got to be primary. But it doesn't mean I can't take 5 or 10 minutes to learn something that may very well help me stay on track in my weight loss journey, in my moving forward with what my work life is going to look like, and in getting myself ready as I am being called back to work. And yes, they are calling us back to work, and I'm in probably at one point we were the #1 state with positive COVID tests. And again, I don't want to get into all that and get the controversy going, but my parents' neighbor had double vaccines and she's on a ventilator. They don't know if she'll make it. I'm not saying that because I want people to be upset or worried. I'm just saying that to be cautious because we really don't know what's going on. And Dr. V was talking about a new strain yesterday. So I'm not saying don't live your life. I'm just saying be careful where you can. And don't ever let more than one day pass. I better tie this up or my phone may not be charged enough and it'll decide to take me off again. But remember, never let more than one day pass. Even if you're not perfect on day 2, get back on and start working it, because the compounding happens because we keep moving forward every single day. We'll lose it if we let go too soon. So thank you guys so much. And I'll let you know what I find out in some of these other books, because I have several shelves of books that I've acquired during my time with Doc V. And I know that it gives me something to look forward to and to work towards, and I'm hoping that it does the same for you. Have a beautiful day, and who knows, maybe I'll make my first snowman today. Enjoy your day, and thank you for being here.